Hi, Sagittarius. My name is Audrey Alison, and this is your January 2015 forecast. Happy New Year. I am coming to you from New Jersey for the month. So it's good to see you, and I've got a lot to say about your third house of communications this month, because Aquarius is where all the action is this month, and that's hitting your third house sector, your siblings, your local neighborhoods, your communication style, your information you're receiving. On the 3rd of January, Venus is entering Aquarius. So she's adding a sensuality to your communication style. There's also love and a beautiful support with how you're communicating. People are interested and almost lingering on your every word. They're just mesmerized by what's coming out of you, your approach. Having Venus in the 3rd, it's very good for interviewing, very good for constructing resumes and getting the communications out there that you need to go forward and progress. Following her 3rd house entrance is Mercury, just a day behind her on the 4th of January. He's also going to enter the 3rd house. So you'll have Venus conjunct Mercury. Now, Mercury naturally on the solar wheel governs the 3rd house of communications, where Gemini resides on the solar wheel. But this is where Aquarius is for you. So having Mercury in its home sector, he loves this. I mean, he's details, he's information, he's really great at expression and thought, mental thought, analytical thought, mental agility. You're coming across crystal clear, and I would take advantage of this because he will retrograde in January. So the first 3 weeks you have him smooth sailing ahead in the 3rd house. Get all of your contracts, paperwork, interviews, resumes handled in the first 2 to 3 weeks. 2 weeks to be safe, because he will retrograde in this 3rd house, where it will then become a not so smooth place for interviewing and contracts or signatures. On the 4th, on the same day, we have our full moon at 14 degrees Cancer. Cancer for you is the 8th house on the astrological wheel, 8th house of sex, death, transformation, but also property, estates, inheritances, wills, taxes, government. Something's coming to an ending with a full moon. Full moon also brings awareness to the sector it touches. You could end the sale of a property if anything's pending in regard to settlements, inheritances, property sales, tax checks waiting to come through. You could, you know what? As a Sagittarius, it would be amazing to handle your taxes on the 4th or the first week of January. Not at all from the 21st through February 11th, though. But having a full moon in the 8th house, you could really handle getting all of your taxes completed and just ending all that, so you don't have to deal with it, because you've got support with the full moon in the 8th house there, bringing an ending, a finalization to that sector. I also want to say, Sagittarians who are dealing with the loss of a relative or loved one, having a full moon in the 8th house could mean funeral attendance, saying goodbye, putting a closure to a relationship, the life of someone. I'm not saying people are going to die on that day. I'm not a doomsday predictor. What I'm saying is, this is how you'll feel the closure of someone who probably previously has passed. The full moon could bring an ending as far as wills, inheritance, being left something in regards to the 8th house, and having to sign and make a finalization in that sector. On the 12th of January, Mars enters Pisces. Pisces is another mutable sign like you are, Sag, so you're comfy with this placement. This is affecting your 4th house of home. There's stimulation in the home. There's activity in the home. There is energy in the home. There's also ambition and drive to possibly look for the home that you're fascinated with or that's intriguing you. Mars stays in a sign or a sector for about 60 days. So use this to your advantage if you are looking for a new residence or looking for someplace new. There's emphasis there. There's support for you. On the 20th, we have the Sun transiting, like he does every year, into Aquarius again, where he will be conjunct Venus and Mercury. The Sun is right there in your third house on the same day our new moon is at 0 degrees Aquarius. So the new moon, the Sun, Venus, and Mercury all hanging out in this sector. Now the new moon being at 0 degrees, again, is initiating something at the very initial stages of this new way of communicating. A job interview. The very new stages of a new path for you in the third house. You could actually make resolutions surrounding the third house and have a very positive outcome with maybe saying, I'm going to watch how I'm communicating with others. I'm going to set boundaries on my communication style, what I am allowing and what I am not, what I'm sharing with others and what I am not. Interesting, because I like that. You know, these new moons don't have to start at 0 degrees. And since they have been consecutively for 4 or 5 months now, probably the 5th new moon that we've had at 0 degrees, having that is saying something to us. It's establishing a very new habit, a very new pattern in these sectors. We're entering a new time. We are all ascending, and it's better to go with the energy than against it. Starting your intentions in the new year, your New Year's resolutions on the new moon, the first new moon of the month in your third house, your guaranteed support. You know, this could also be siblings, setting boundaries or a new way of communicating with the siblings in your life, the neighbors in your life, third house. Also, your driving, your local errands, the car. For some reason, I'm feeling the Chariot in the Tarot. Maybe I'll pull that for you. But you could get a new car. I don't know why I'm saying that. Well, third house could be vehicle. So maybe you're getting new cars around the 20th, but here's the the glitch. On the day after, on the 21st, Mercury's retrograding at 17 degrees Aquarius in this third house sector. Not the best time to sign at all, because the third house is contracts and signatures and communications and paperwork. So it's a double whammy to have the retrograde in that sector for you. So hold off, okay? Mercury's retrograding from January 21st through February 11th. So you really don't want to put a time stamp on a document in a retrograde in the house of documents where Mercury is retrograde. You'll have to redo something. Something won't pan out correctly. There'll be a redo. But in a retrograde, it's really appropriate to revise, to rewrite, reanalyze, review. Take your time in that third house. You know, it's not a bad idea to have legal representation look over documents at that time. It might be slow for them getting them back to you, but that's okay. They can take their time with it. I actually think that would be a beautiful placement, the retrograde working with you in the review or, you know, revising of contracts and things that are pending for you, possibly property, you know, property purchases and maybe the acquiring of new property or the selling. It doesn't matter either way. Now, Venus makes a double transit on the 27th. She's entering Pisces, this mutable sign like you are. And this is the 4th house of home again. So Venus will be conjunct Mars when she's there. Venus, the planet of women, Mars, the planet of men, both stationed at home. There could be a lot of attempts at baby making with that in the home, conceptions. But the 4th house is the deepest house on the solar wheel. The 4th house is the lowest. It's your roots. It's your deep family. It's where you come from internally. Maybe not tangible environment, the walls that you're in. For example, I'm in the house I was born in right now in New Jersey. This is my 4th house of roots, you know. So there's something very deep and connected in the 4th house with Venus conjunct Mars there. You might establish You might bring the love of your life or a relationship into the home to meet the parents. You could really connect. You could get married at home. You could be starting your own family at home, which is probably what that means for those of you who want children and who are able to conceive and are of the correct, appropriate age for all that. Let me get to the cards and see what they say about you, Sag. And, as usual, if you'd like a reading with me, you can find me at audreyallison.com and Facebook at Audrey Allison Astrology and Tarot. I read all through the week, and I would love to read for you, so contact me there. All right, Sag. January 2015. Oh, I could feel that card wanted to come out. Okay, I'm going to do my typical spread. The Sun. This is soulmate, marriage. The Sun is probably the most positive card you could get in the tarot. Out of the major arcana, the Nine of Cups isn't a bad card either, as far as the suits. But the Sun is a very positive card. It's actually indicative of the time frame of summer. It does represent your polar opposite too. So something might be accumulating in the relationship. I'll get to a summation in a little while. The King of Coins, the mastering of your fourth house of home, your environment, and your occupation, your income. Well, with Venus going into the fourth, she is the planet of money into the home, environment, and money, occupation, what you're being paid. There's a connection in your fourth house right now. Ooh, beautiful. The World, another major arcana card. Things coming full circle, right around all 4 seasons, winter, spring, summer, fall. In a full year's time, you're going to look back at this area of your life and be very further away from where you are now in the most aligning way. I feel like there's a lot of fate and transformation with the World card, but it does mean that everything that you need is at your disposal, is at your fingertips right now. The High Priestess, this is me. This is me giving you your reading. No, it could mean that, but it's also, as an ending card, she's like this. Keep a lot of your plans regarding the home internal. You don't have to outwardly express a lot. It's actually a great idea not to communicate as much in a Mercury retrograde that's in your communication sector. So go inward. Go hone it in internally and keep your ideas regarding relationship, who you're bringing into the home. Maybe don't want to announce it to the world, but you're going to keep it close to your chest. You're going to keep it to your roots. Your family knows. Maybe your family is all that needs to know this month. Actually, your family is all that needs to know through mid-February when the retrograde's occurring. I'm hearing some things, and I'm really feeling like a lot of you Sages are very protective of just your environment and the people that you regularly communicate with. This isn't a very social, external month for you. This is an internal month. And every once in a while, you can't always be outward. You have to go in order for ideas to come and for things to manifest. They need time. So you can't just constantly express outward energy. And since Mars is in your fourth house of home, you're hanging out there. And home, literally and figuratively, internally, the home, the soul, and in the confines of your 4 walls, or how many walls you got in your house. But this is a very positive card, as well as these 2 major arcana cards together. Something's coming full circle for you, Sag. I mean, it is like what you had initially set out for, maybe in regards to governing a relationship, it's coming to fruition. And you have support with Venus in the 4th. So I like this for you. It's smooth. There's no swords cards involved. There's not a lot of drama happening here. I really think that it's a peaceful month, especially with the High Priestess. She doesn't mess around. She doesn't let anyone in that doesn't belong in. My name is Audrey Allison. Thanks for joining me. Happy New Year. And I'll see you next month in February. Have a sweet day.